Hey guys, it's Kells back at it again with another Friday Night Live. I'm trying to see, ooh, the lighting looks. Let me see if I could get the lighting right. How is that? How's the lighting on that? Y'all let me know. I see y'all in here waiting for me. I appreciate you so much. Back at it again with another Friday Night Live. You guys know that each and every Friday night we go live to reconnect with the collective, decompress from all the code switching that we have to do all week at these people's jobs, and just pretty much shoot the shit and see what we got into this week. I see Anna in the building already. I so appreciate you. You see I'm a little bit on time tonight. You see, I'm a little bit on time tonight. We did good. Lighting is good, good. And let me see. Let me make sure I can see over here on my monitor thing here that I can see you guys in the building. It's looking like I can. It's looking like everything is looking good. Yes, and you can tell by the what I have. Hey, what's up? IKR in the building. You guys can kind of tell by the title of this live. What's up, Laura in the building? Anna's in the building. I know, right? IKR X in the building. I appreciate you guys kicking it with me on a Friday evening. Back at it again. You could probably tell by the subject on this video what you guys voted for us to talk about tonight. But we're gonna do our regular thing, which is go through the topics. I'm gonna let you know a little bit of behind the scenes. Not Lauren in the building, not DB in the building. Wow, you guys are in here this evening. I appreciate you so much. We're gonna do our regular Friday night thing, which is we're gonna go through the topics. We're gonna talk about a little bit of behind the scenes, where the ideas came from, and I'm gonna let you guys know how you voted. And then we're gonna talk about the topics that you guys selected. You could tell by the subject that tonight you guys wanted to talk about how to let go of what no longer serves. DB is a whole chef in these streets, just in case y'all didn't know. DB be chefing it up, so he be listening to us sometimes while he's cooking, and I so appreciate the love, DB. Lauren, you too. Thanks for being here, girly. Yeah. So first things first, second things second, let's do cheers. You guys know we always come on in and announce ourselves in the comments. Drop your flag if you want to drop your flag. We have a lot of international watchers. Usually 7 is a little too late for them, but sometimes they do catch us on Replay Gang. You guys know Replay Gang is strong, so if you're not catching us live, definitely still chime in on the comments. Let me know that you're a part of Replay Gang. Drop this emoji, and I'll respond to each and every one of your comments, because we know the collective is the collective, so when you catch us is when you do. All right, Dana is in the building. I think this is the first time that I've seen Miss Dana in here live, so I so appreciate you, girly. I know you pinged me earlier, said you was gonna join, so I appreciate the love coming through. So first things first, second things second, we're gonna do our cheers, but tonight I wanna actually cheers to something, because normally we do our regular cheers, you know what I mean, what you sipping on, and then we do our cheers, because we gotta keep that throat chakra lubricated. But tonight I actually wanna cheers to something. I was thinking about it, and I was like, we don't really cheers to more life. We don't really cheers to us being up. We don't really cheers to anything. So tonight, I feel like we should really cheers to something. So you guys drop in the comments what you want to cheers to, okay? But for me, on my end, while y'all drop it in the comments what you want to cheers to on this Friday night, this is April, is it the 29th or the 30th? Today is Friday, April 29th, 2022. Okay, tomorrow is a whole, is it a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse? It's an eclipse happening tomorrow. So what's been going on during this week is going to reveal a lot to you. And so I say we need to go into this eclipse with a whole lot of gratitude, a whole lot of appreciation, a whole lot of abundance, prosperity, you know what I mean? More life, more money, more fun, more relaxation, more ease, more flow. What y'all want to cheers to? Sprinkle something on it. What y'all want to cheers to tonight? I'm looking at money. I'm looking at wealth. I'm looking at health. I'm looking at abundance. I'm looking at pleasure. I'm looking at gratitude. I'm looking at appreciation. I'm looking at us being up. You hear me? What y'all cheersing to? Let me know in the comments what we're cheersing to. We're cheersing to leveling up. Dana said we're cheersing to leveling up, okay? And so all of that for tonight's show, and as we go into this eclipse weekend, going into it with that level up, more life, well-being mindset. Cheers! Clink, 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 clink. Yes. So, okay, guys, I'm actually sipping on something a little brown. Those of you guys who used to catch me like 3 or 4 years ago when I used to go live for the 7-day challenge, you know, I was like that little brown liquor, you know what I mean? I used to drink on that. So we have a little bit of that, just a little splash of that tipped in the cup tonight with a little few chasers or something, just to wet the whistle, just to keep the throat chakra lubricated. But in the meantime, I'm gonna read the comments and see what y'all want to cheers to. Cheers. Okay, Miss Dana says she in here drinking a Moscow Mule. Yes, ma'am. I'm here for it. Moscow, that must be vodka. You know what I mean? Cheers to make it through this crazy world one more day. Anna's in the building. Moderator Anna's in here. She says cheers to making it through one more day. Of course, we're cheersing to leveling up, and we're cheersing to gratitude, appreciation for this amazing time, this amazing period that we have together, where we get to just like decompress and reconnect. And you guys, I get to show my face as promised. Yeah, week 18, if you can imagine, that is the consistency for me. It's the consistency for me. I need y'all to, I wish I had a button where I could press and you could hear clap and applause. That's what I want to hear. The consistency. And we're going to go strong. You know what I mean? We're going to continue to go strong. We are getting into the thick of spring, and we're going to go into the summer. We're going to see how it works out. Do plan on getting some traveling in during the summer, so we might take the show on the road, and you might see some of our Friday night kickbacks come to you from different backgrounds, different locations, and I hope you guys definitely ride along with me as we do that. Yeah? Yes. So let me take another sip. Yes, diamonds. So let's look at how you guys voted. I want to show you guys a little bit more background on what you actually voted for, and then we'll get into the thick of the thick. You know what I mean? So, okay. So here we go. So you guys know I always look on here. And let's start with Instagram. Now, I don't know if you noticed, if you voted on Instagram, it was a little bit different this week because I used the quiz function instead of the poll function. And the poll function actually gives you the percentages, whereas the quiz function just tells you right or wrong, but it gives me the numbers behind the scenes. And so I was just testing it out because the quiz function gives me a little bit more space to write out what I'm thinking in terms of the the character limits of like what I can explain, what we're trying to talk about. Let me turn this light up here one more second, guys. Hold on. There you go. There we go. I feel like I'm gonna turn this way. Yeah. So the poll function gives me a little bit more space. The quiz function gives me more space, but it doesn't show the percentages. The poll gives me less space, but shows the percentages. So we're working with what Instagram is letting us work with because I think it is the best platform for me to get you guys' input into the show, into our kickback. And so I hope you don't mind too much. Yeah? So let's get into the numbers. Let's get into the numbers and let me tell you how you guys voted, and I'll give you a little bit of background on how each of the topics came about this week. All right. So just in case, just so you know, what happens is that I go about the week and things that occur in my life or occur in conversations or things that really resonate with me throughout the week, I pull them into, just by way of a little background, I pull them into something, a running kind of tally of the things that have been really impactful for me during the week. And then at the end of the week, I look at everything and then I pull for the topics that feel like there's a lot of patterns or a lot of things that would resonate with you guys. And I realize that sometimes you feel like this is a very individual experience, but what you have to realize is that sometimes you think something is only happening to you, meanwhile it be happening to everybody. Let me ask you something. How many of you guys, did you guys have a lot of water? Let me know in the comments if you had any issues with water this week, whether it be water overflowing somewhere, dropping glasses of water, leaks in your roof, pools overflowing, things like that. If you had any issues with water this week, let me know, because I feel like at least 4 people in my life this week had some issue with a leaking pipe, a broken pipe, water bubbling somewhere on their ceiling or somewhere on their wall, a sprinkler head pushing out too much water and now their lawn is a little bit flooded. It was a lot of issues with water this week, and I'm just wondering, did y'all experience that, or was that just my people's on my side? That's a side note. That's a whole side note. But yeah, just let me know in the comments if you experienced anything like that. Oh, the sun is okay. I'm looking at this shadow. I'm like, what is going on? Okay, the sun is coming through my my windows here because it's starting to still be late in the. Anyway, whatever. We'll live with it. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, so the screen is looking a little bit foggy. Let me know if it's clear coming on your guys' end. And it looks like it is because I know Anna or somebody would have said it's looking foggy, but I'm thinking it's still looking clear. All right, so let me know if it's coming in clear. Smash, smash, smash that like button for the consistency for another Friday night live. Week 18, I appreciate you guys being here. So show me some love, smashing the like button, subscribing, putting your notifications on, commenting, all free and easy ways to support the content, letting me know that you're here, you're riding with me, and you're engaging the content. So if you would, smash that like button, I'd so appreciate it. Okay, so enough with the running off at the mouth. Let's look at the topics for this week and how you guys voted, and we're specifically looking on Instagram, okay? So the first one was true meanings of repeating angel numbers, and then I just put some examples: 333, 555, 1111. Not last week, but the week before last, you guys said, oh, we want to talk a little bit more about like maybe spiritual things, metaphysical things. And so I was like, all right, let's start easy. Let's start easy. Let's start with the things that you see a lot of people talking about, and it's angel numbers. Now, you guys didn't really vote for it too heavy. We got about, I'll see, okay, so how many votes? Now I have to do the percentages myself. Lord God, why I did it this way. All right, so let's see. We're looking at 11, 12, 18. Okay, so about 20 votes, and then we're looking at 3. So it's looking like less than 10%. So so you guys voted only like about 10% on the true meaning of repeating angel numbers. And so I'll have to figure out another way to introduce that. And so hopefully you guys want to vote for that a little bit more. I know a couple of y'all slid in my DMs was like, I really want to talk about this. I'm intrigued by it. So I'm sure we'll get into it, but just not tonight. Just not tonight. Okay. And so then the number one on Instagram was why it's so hard to let go of what no longer serves you. And that came in at about, I'll say about 45% of the votes. Ruby M in the building. All right. And then the third option was no, he does not. Oh, why it's so hard to let go of what no longer serves. Okay, so the background on that. I have a little cousin, and she was posting a lot about this topic on her IG this week, and that really resonated with me because I'm trying to move in a little bit of a different direction, and I'm finding that the moving, not only is the moving in that direction requiring like courage, but it also is requiring the awareness that I have to let go as well. So it's not just like moving in the direction, but I feel like the biggest part of it is letting go. And so we'll talk about that tonight because that's what you guys' top choice was. But that's the background so far on it. Okay, so the third option was no, he does not want to be a provider protector. So I keep hearing people talking about like, oh, it's in men's nature to be a provider and protector. And I don't know if that's everybody's experience. And so instead of leaving people out and making people feel like, well, that's not my experience, why am I so weird or why am I so different? I was like, let's talk about it, because some men, yes, I'm sure, but not all men. You know what I mean? Let's be realistic about this. And so that was the option. And you guys voted for that on Instagram at about the same percentage as the angel number. So I'd probably say like 10%. All right. And then the final option was major mindset shift required to get to the next level. The mindset required to get to the next level, the shift of the mindset. And you guys voted for that at it's looking like about 30% of the vote on Instagram, okay? And so that one came from me personally this week as well, because again, as I said, you guys, I'm like trying to move in a direction and it's requiring so much mental work and refinement and like clarity and focus to confidently move in that direction or confidently gain momentum there. And so I kind of just wanted to talk about it and articulate it out loud and let you guys know what I was thinking about it, and then get you guys' input and see if we could all figure out this mindset shift that is required to move us to that next level. So that wasn't our number one today, but I'm feeling like we might get into a little dibble dabble of that, because I feel like the top two, why letting go is so hard, and the major mindset shift required, I feel like those two have a lot in common. So we might get a little dibble and dabble into that fourth option. But on IG, you guys clearly picked why it's so hard to let go of what no longer serves. Yeah? So that's the rundown of what you guys picked on IG. We're going to get into the rundown of what you guys picked on YouTube. And then we're going to get into the topic. But first, a little something to sip on. Cheers. Clink, 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 clink. What are we cheersing to? Anybody else wanting to chime in on what we're cheersing to this week? We cheers to more life. We cheers to abundance, prosperity, wealth, health. We cheers to, pleasure, ease and flow, alignment. What else are we cheersing to this week? We're up. We are up. So we definitely have to cheers for gratitude, appreciation, guidance. Clink, 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 clink. What y'all want to cheers to? Let me know. And then we'll get into the second part. Okay, so let's look at, so that's how y'all voted on Instagram. Let's pop on over and let's look to the community tab here on YouTube. Okay. Ooh, to safe travels, to vacations. Yes, that's what we're going. That's what we're cheersing to, Rubes. Okay. So if you're wondering, like, how do people actually vote on these topics? Every Thursday night, I drop 4 topic options on Instagram, my Instagram, and actually on Facebook as well, if you're following me on Facebook, and on YouTube here on the community tab. So that's where you get an opportunity to vote on the topics we talk about tonight live, off the dome, off the cup, basically channeling and seeing what spirit, what the divine, what comes through for the topic tonight. So if you're ever wanting to vote and chime in on what we're talking about, either slide in my DMs and drop me a little note earlier in the week like, hey, Kels, can you put this in the running for what we talk about on Friday? This is what's happening to me this week. I would love the community, the collective feedback. Slide in my DMs, send me a message like that. Or on Friday, if you don't have anything you want to talk about, but you definitely want to vote, look out for the voting on Thursday nights into Friday mornings, and then vote as you will, and then we get into the top topics on Friday night. You'll see my subject line be like topic drop for the voting. So just in case you was wondering, like, how do people get to vote? That's how you get to vote. Okay. So, all right. So looking at the community tab on YouTube, I can see the percentages here. So the number 1, true meaning of repeating angel numbers, 444, 555, 111, 1111. What's the true meaning of that? That came in at 13% of the vote here on YouTube. And then number 2, why it's so hard to let go of what no longer serves. That came in at about 38% here on YouTube, and that was our number 1. The third option was no, he does not want to be no provider protector. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a whole lie. That came in at 31% of the vote on YouTube. And then the final one, major mindset shift required to get to the next level. That came in at 19% here on YouTube. All right. So the number 1, again, on both platforms tonight is why it's so hard to let go of what no longer serves. And so you guys know, if you've been joining us, and I know most of you in here have been joining us each week, you know that for the last couple of weeks, what y'all voted for on Instagram is not the same as what y'all voted for on YouTube. And so I kind of had to make an executive decision on what we talk about. But tonight, you guys actually voted the same on both platforms. So I don't have to make an executive decision. I can just like talk about what you guys really want to talk about this week. And so that is amazing. Yes. I saw Ferd in the building. Welcome, Ferd. I so appreciate you. Okay. So, wetting our whistle, lubricating the throat chakra a little bit before we get into it. Okay. So, we're talking about tonight how to let go of what no longer serves. Okay. So let's explain that a little bit more before we get into like what we're thinking about it, yeah? So when you say how to let go, like obviously how to let go of, but when we're saying what no longer serves, what is that? Like, what do we mean by that? When somebody says what no longer serves, what is that? What are we talking about there? And what I was talking about there was when you say something that no longer serves, it's either something that no longer feels good to you, it's something that you no longer want to do, it's something that is no longer progressing your goals, it's something that you no longer feel enthusiastic about doing, it's something that you're doing out of sheer necessity, or what you think is a necessity, but it's not necessarily aligned, or it doesn't necessarily feel good, it doesn't make you feel happy, it doesn't make you feel enthusiastic, it just doesn't feel like something you would do any longer if you didn't feel forced. If you didn't feel like you had no other choice, if you didn't feel like you was a prisoner. You know what I mean? And so that's what we're talking about when you're saying what no longer serves you. It's not serving you because it's not bringing ease, and it's not coming with ease. It doesn't feel good. It's not fully aligned with what you want. It doesn't thrill you. You know what I mean? It's just maybe something you're doing out of pattern, out of bad habits, or something that you just feel stuck doing because you feel like you have no other choice. All right, so that's what we mean when we say, how do you let go of something that is no longer serving you? Does that make sense? I hope that does. Yes. So, okay, so Life with Miss Dana says, for me, it's climbing the corporate ladder and trying to advance in my career. Anna says, totally, it makes sense. Okay, so what do you feel like? So that's a good point. So Life with Miss Dana is saying climbing the corporate ladder. If you feel so called, if you want to share, what do you feel like is something that you're trying to let go of that you feel like is no longer serving you? If you want to drop that in the comments, drop it in the comments. You know what I mean? If you feel like sharing. Yeah. So a lot of times it's relationships. A lot of times it's jobs. A lot of times it's bad habits. A lot of times it's addictions. A lot of times it's friendships. A lot of times it's, what else could it be? Yeah, those are usually the things. But sometimes there's other things as well. Sometimes it's guilt. Sometimes it's shame. Sometimes it's obsessive thinking. Sometimes it's anxiety. Sometimes it's depression. Sometimes it's, it can be so many things that at one time was serving a purpose in your life, or you felt like it was serving a purpose, or it was some sort of crutch for you. And now you're realizing that it's just a bag lady type of thing. It's heavier than it actually is. It's more heavy than it's actually serving. So you kind of get the sense that it's like time for it to go, but it's just so hard. It's just so hard to let it go. You know what I mean? And so that's what we're talking about tonight, guys. So what is it? What are we trying to let go of that we're having a hard time letting go of? If anybody wants to share, feel free to chime in the comments. Okay. Okay. So, all right, y'all quiet in the comments. Nobody want to share? Oh, wait, no, hold on, I'm seeing something. Rubes is saying, for me, for some time now, it's been letting go of relationships, friendships, also letting go of guilt and self-judgment. Still working on all of these. I feel you. Life with Miss Dana. Miss Dana is saying, the higher I've climbed the corporate ladder, the more stress I endure. I love money, but I love my peace more. I feel you. Anna is saying, outgrow friendships that no longer feel like mutual support. Friendships that no longer feel like mutual support. Being amongst people that find it easy to be happy for you. Rubes always drops that knowledge there. You know what I mean? So these are so common, right? Like the career, friendships, guilt, self-judgment. Like these are all things that you're like, oh my God, how do I get rid of this? How do I let it go? Like, how do I go on um, to the next thing? Okay. And so I have a little bit of notes here. So I'm going to try to see if I can tie it all in. Okay. So the first thing that comes to mind when I think about letting go is, for me, it's the reason why you're trying to let go. For me, what came up for me about the letting go situation was, I'm trying to step into a new chapter. I'm trying to step into a new paradigm. I'm trying to operate in a different system. And I'm finding it difficult to build up the courage and the momentum for it to feel like the next logical step. Because at this point in my life, I'm realizing that if I want to operate from a place of ease and flow, which is a different paradigm than what we've been operating from before. When I say paradigm, I'm talking about system, zeitgeist, how things are normally done. Status quo. Previous to what we're used to is the grind, the hustle, the get your effing ass up and work, Kim K brainwash, all of that was how we typically operate. It's like you can't get anywhere unless you're grinding your bones down into sawdust, right? And so that's the old paradigm that I am trying to escape. And the new paradigm that I am trying to confidently cultivate and step into is one of more ease and flow, of one of more that you are able to create in ease and flow. It can be the next logical step for you to step into, and you can have the inspired action to work in that way, but it won't require you to grind down to the bone. This is a new paradigm, right? This is a new way of thinking. This is totally different than the backgrounds that we all come from, especially if you're an immigrant. Let you be an immigrant. let you be an immigrant. Let you be a first generation anything. You know what I mean? Let you be trying to do something different than your parents have done. You could be from anywhere. Let you try to break into a new way of doing things or living life that your parents didn't live in. You know what I mean? And it requires, it's a quantum leap. It's a paradigm shift, right? So I'm trying to shift into this idea, this concept, or this way of living or governing my life that I can do. It can be the next logical step. I can find the inspired action and I can do it in ease and flow, and it still work out just as well, if not just as well, hopefully even better than the old paradigm I've been operating in, which is work, 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 slave, 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 a big old slave ship. And pretty much that's how all America operates. So it's a huge thing to do. So as I'm thinking about, okay, how do I gain the momentum? How do I gain the clarity? How do I know what's the actions that I need to take to move forward in this new ease and flow in this way that I feel like? And I realized that it wasn't only about cultivating the momentum to move forward and the courage to move forward and to step out, but it was also about letting go of the old modality, letting go of the old way of doing it, letting go of the old belief system. And I said, damn, that's probably why it's so hard to get the momentum to move into the new, because I'm still as a bag lady syndrome, right? I'm still dragging along the old belief system, the old way, trying to contort the old way into the new way instead of just severing it and letting it go. So I was like, okay, so letting go. Let's work on not only cultivating the momentum forward, but also severing what no longer serves so that my journey is lighter. Yeah, does that make sense? Cheers, clink, 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 clink. Y'all let me know if that makes sense. It's making sense to me, but hopefully it's making sense to y'all. So, and I see y'all chiming in the comments, so I so appreciate it. Jared Fort in the building. We getting deep. Needed this. Come on in, Jared. We get deep over here. Sometimes we do the light, you know what I mean? It is Friday night after all. So we will keep it light. We will keep it, as light as we can. But you know what? We got to talk the real. Because half the time on the internet, you got a whole bunch of people talking a whole bunch of foolishness that, you listen to when you want to turn your brain off. But when you really about to inherit the earth, when you really about to take over, when you really up, like how we up over here in the collective, you better know a few things. And so that's what we're getting into. We're going to dibble dabble, know a few things, and then we can get into the light and we can sip on a little brown liquor while we do it. Cheers, throat chakra. Cheers, Marjorie in the building. So, okay. So that's where I got to first. It's like not only building the courage to move forward, but it was also having the awareness to know what needed to be cut, what needed to be let go, what old belief systems needed to be released so that we can gain the momentum to move in the next logical step, to find the next inspired action, to move in the direction that we know we are cultivating for ourselves. Right? Child, this growing up is a lot of work. Last week we talked about adulting. Last week we were talking about how ghetto adulting is and how there were so many things that nobody tells you about being an adult. You just have to, you are growing, you will see. You know what I mean? You're growing. You'll see it on your own. You'll learn it on your own. And so I feel like this is a natural progression from that conversation. So if you ain't see that live last week, be a part of the replay gang and watch that last week after this live, and you'll see kind of how that was a natural progression into what we're talking about tonight. Okay? So all right. So I think that was the first thing about letting go. I think the second thing, and this is a little bit deep, so I'm going to try to explain it or talk about it in a way that makes sense. You guys know I'm a Pisces. My big three are all water signs: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And so you could drown. You could drown. Quiet as it's kept, you could just drown over here. But, sometimes it's a little bit necessary to get a little bit deep, you know what I mean? And to really, really talk the real things. Because, you know what I mean? What we end up doing is in public, we talk all the shallow foolishness that doesn't really help us. It's just gossip and, key, skinning up teeth, but really doesn't serve us, right? And then behind closed doors, we're worried and we're concerned and we don't really know what to do. So let's bring that out. Well, let's bring out what's done in the dark. Let's bring it out into light tonight, right? Let's talk some real stuff tonight. I think another thing about letting go is that I heard a reader talk about that I really, really liked. And she says, you have to be gentle with your mind. So this is talking about shifting your belief systems. She said, and this really resonated with me, so I wrote it down in like my journal and on my vision board and stuff like that. But essentially, she said that you have to be gentle with yourself. And when you say gentle with yourself, you're talking about pretty much your mind. Because your mind can be very stuck in its ways. It finds something that it feels like it works, and it does not. It's like a dog with a bone. It does not want to let it go because it's designed at a very kind of lizard basis just to try to keep you safe. It's not trying to design to do too much. It's not designed to think outside of the box. It's just trying to keep you alive. And so when you are actively trying to shift your belief systems and move into a new paradigm, you have to gently work with your mind to release old belief systems, to let go old belief systems that served you at one time. Okay, fine, the thing served you when you were 7 years old, but you're 27 now. You're 27. It don't serve no more. And you still holding on to it. You still holding on to it. You got to let it go, all right? And so you have to be gentle with yourself as you release things that at one time served you, release mindsets that at one time served you, but you realize that, dang, this is more baggage than anything. It's no longer serving me. I got to let this go. So you have to be gentle with yourself as you coach your mind, coach your subconscious into releasing and gently letting those belief systems kind of melt away. That's my word, right? When I'm trying to change my mind about something or see things in a different way or have a different perspective about something, I ask myself, I ask God, I ask the divine to help me melt away. Because, melting is kind of like a gentle shifting, right? It's not chop. You know what I mean? It's not chopping off the head of a snake or chopping off the head of a chicken, right? Or chopping off whatever, chopping into whatever. It's not that. We're talking about melting. So you're delicately morphing a thing, right? And so, I'm like, okay, how do I allow, be gentle in your way that you allow the belief. The belief comes to your awareness that's no longer serving you, and then be gentle in the way that you allow it to melt away and to morph into something that serves you better. So there's this gentleness that you're working with yourself. If you had a kid, if you have a baby or a niece or a nephew or a little kid around you, when you're trying to teach them something, or when you're trying to give them confidence in themselves, or when you're trying to, raise them properly, you don't beat them up. You gently nurture them. It's a feminine mothering energy that you present to the children around you, and you have to realize that you have to give that self to yourself, especially if you didn't have a nurturing mother in your life. Because as you become an adult, one thing that we didn't talk about last week is that as you become an adult, you have to become your own parent. You have to become your own parent, and you have to parent in a way that you probably didn't even receive from your own worldly parents. You become the father to your inner child. You become the mother to your inner child and to yourself. And so you have to nurture yourself into believing in yourself in a different way, or believing a different belief system, right? And so just as if you would a niece or a nephew or your friend's child or your own kids, you know what I mean? You have to coach and nurture and gently nudge as you start to change the way and form the way you're thinking, your belief systems, right? Belief systems are just a pattern of thought, what you always think about something, how you always think about something, all your perspective on something. Your consistent pattern perspective, that is a belief system. So this whole concept of gentle, nurturing, melting, reforming, allowing, this is a very feminine way of doing things, and it works. Not everything is grind down, quick chop, some things, a lot of things require that tenderness to actually see the change, to see the shift. Okay? And so the thing that she said, I'm circling back now, the thing that she said that really resonated with me was, she said, help the mind grow in its capacity. Help the mind grow in its capacity to interpret and follow the yearnings of the heart. I love that. I love that because I could feel that, right? Because for me personally, and let me know how it feels in your body, or how it is for you. But for me, my heart, like what I want to, like what excites me, you know what I mean? What feels good, what thrills me, my bliss, I'm enthusiastic about, that resides in my heart. And my heart can be big. It has big ideas, big enthusiasm, big excitement, big light, it has big things, yeah? The mind is more of the executor. How are we going to do that? When are we going to do that? Why are we going to do that? Does that make sense? Can we pay our bills? Can we do this? When will that happen? How did we do that? Are we going to be embarrassed by that? The mind is the analytical, obviously, part of it. And so when you're shifting your belief system, what she's saying is that you are coaching your mind in its capacity to be able to receive and interpret the yearnings of the heart. Made sense to me, because I'm like, yo, my heart be big trying to do stuff. And my mind be like, but how? How you finna do that? So you can make money doing that? But who gonna pay the mortgage? But then people gonna think you don't really have a job. But that's the so that's where that gentleness was coming from. What she was saying, where she was saying you're coaching your mind, and you're helping your mind grow in its capacity to interpret and move towards the yearnings of your heart. Okay. And so, I don't know, that really resonated with me. That might be a little bit nebulous and ethereal for those of you guys who are more like earth signs or air signs or something like that, who are more like analytical, like, what is this girl talking about? But for those of you guys who are more water, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Cheers. Clink, 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 clink. All right. Guys, I was excited to come on live tonight. I was really excited to come on live tonight. I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to put some behind the scenes on my TikTok, because like each of these platforms requires something completely different. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to put the background, the behind the scenes on how these shows are produced and some of the conversations that I have behind the scenes and prep for what we talk about on Friday nights, maybe on TikTok as the behind the scenes. And then, you know, we come live on here, and then you guys know the questions, and you guys get to select on IG and YouTube community tab. So I don't know, I just felt like, I feel like it might be cool for y'all to see some of the how this all comes together. So if you're not following me, I'm on TikTok. It's KELLS333 on TikTok. It's KELLS on IG, and you guys know it's KELLS here on YouTube. Okay, let's look at a little bit of the comments, and then we're gonna get back into whatever whatever else I have here on my my list to talk to you guys about. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Mixtape swagger in the building. Jared Ford said he needed this. I appreciate you for being here, Jared. No, bruh, nobody told me I needed a journal for this. Jared, you could rewatch this, babe. You could rewatch this, babe. You could snap a little piece out of it on your phone or something like that. You don't gotta write it down, but you know, a journal would be good. A journal would be good. All right, Ferd is taking a nap. Ferd is all the way in South Africa, so I appreciate you popping in, and I'm sure I'll catch you on Replay Gang. You guys know Replay Gang is strong here in the collective, so if you are not catching us live, no problem. Drop this emoji in the comments when you are catching us. Leave your comments, chime in, let me know what you are sipping on and what you think about tonight's topic, and I'll respond to each and every one. So we love our live audience just as much as we love the Replay Gang. But you know what? Those of y'all who catching us live, the collective that's catching us live, you know, it's more fun when you're here in person. So try to catch us live one of these Friday nights. Okay. And so Rubes is saying releasing is a very feminine practice, but we all have these feminine energies within. Yes. Anna's saying time takes time. Dana's saying exactly. Who is going to pay this DC rent, sis? I don't know, sis. I don't know, sis. You know what I will say though? I'm waiting for Biden to delete these student loans. And he needed to delete 50, 60, 70,000 of it. 10K. I'll take the 10K, Biden. I will take the 10K, but I need you to go on ahead and just give us the 50, 60, 75, 80,000 and just wipe these loans. You know what I mean? These student loans. And Dana, the reason why that even came up is because I had told somebody probably about 3 years ago that somebody was going, if he wasn't going to pay, God, swear to God, I told him, look, if you're not going to pay these student loans, somebody is. Somebody finna pay these student loans, and it ain't gonna be me. I've paid enough. I have paid enough. Somebody got to pay these student loans. And right now we're looking at like, ooh, Biden might actually wipe them. So I'm like, look, somebody got to pay that DC rent. Somebody got to pay these student loans. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe we just have to leave space and be receptive to that. You know what I mean? If that's what you want. Okay. And it says we live in a society that would rather tell us we're less than for not playing the game instead of finding our own autonomy. They want us to rely on the system that they have built, and the system is only designed for one type of person to be the pinnacle. The system that we are all operating under currently, or the majority of us are operating under currently, is only designed for a few type of people to be successful in it. The rest of us is just buoying the system with our blood, sweat, and tears. So for me, that's what I'm saying is like when I'm trying to get up the courage to pull out of this system that they have designed for us, that has worked for me. It has worked for me. It has worked for us. But it only works for some of us to keep us just above broke. You know what I mean? And anybody who is aspiring to something that is greater than just above broke, the current system doesn't fully suffice. So it requires you to cut and let go of the belief systems and the mindset of the old system, the old paradigm, and try to venture out like some sort of pilgrim, venture out like some sort of, voyager, or some sort of, visionary, and create and design a system different than the old one that only serves a few to the pinnacle, right? The rest of us is just middlemen, expendable, and move into a system that you design for yourself that actually serves you. That is the scary part, and that is what I'm working on. And that's how this topic even came up. How do I step out of this current system that has served well, but I want to step into a new system that serves excellence? How do I get the courage to feel that well-being abounds, and that I can and I'm deserving, and that it will work out for me if I try to step out and design a system that serves me better? That's the background of this topic. Smash that like button if you like what you're hearing tonight. We getting a little deep in the collective tonight. You guys know that we go live every Friday night, 7 p.m. To talk about the topics you guys selected. Tonight you guys selected, how the heck do we let go of what no longer serves? And so that's what we're talking about tonight, guys. Cheers. Clink, 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 clink. I might have to get some merch. All right, so far you guys want It's KELLS mugs, y'all want It's KELLS wine glasses, and now y'all want It's KELLS journals. Come on, somebody. Jared, you got the plug for some merch? You know what I mean? You want to slide in my DMs with the plug for some merch? We could get some It's KELLS merch or something like that, because it's looking like y'all want journals. Let me go ahead and write that down. Hold on. Y'all want Apartment Life View said she wanted champagne glass, or like wine glasses. And then mugs, y'all definitely want mugs. And then now Jared keep talking about a journal. He want a journal. We could get journals now, babe. All right, so we got the merch written down. You guys know merch was like my biggest thing was being consistent on these lives and reconnecting with you guys each and every Friday night, showing my face as promised. And so, yeah, one of these days you guys gonna see a merch drop. But for now, it's just showing up for the collective, showing up each and every Friday night as promised, and holding true to the consistency. Over the last few years, it was a little bit challenging for me, and so I fell all the way off of my YouTube channel for the last couple of years. But now my priority is you guys, and we are gonna go consistent, to learn from the collective wisdom of the It's KELLS community. Let's hop back into the comments for a few more comments, and then we'll get back into a little bit more of this, how to let go of what no longer serves. Yeah. And I say, so following your bliss has a negative stigma to it in the broader world. I mean, yeah, I guess so. But because everybody pushes this mindset that that can't sustain you, when that's the exact thing that should be able to sustain you. And it is possible to do that, because some of us are doing that in this world. Not the vast majority, but some of us are. And so I am, that is the thing that I want to be more open to, that following your bliss can actually sustain a livelihood. And maybe it's not even the following the bliss that's sustaining the livelihood. Maybe your livelihood is already sustained. It's not necessary for you to drive it as much as we've been told that it's necessary for us to drive. You know what I mean? All right. Agreed. The student loan forgiveness, that will help a lot, wouldn't it? Biden need to come on with the 60,000, the 75,000. Come on. I think Jared uncovered another collective merch item, journals. Absolutely. Absolutely. Where's the journals? They coming, boo. Thank you for the idea. Get the pen and you could offer the whole package. Okay. Y'all are... Y'all are giving me business ideas. Okay, well I need a vendor. Y'all, if y'all got a good vendor for merch, let me know. Tell them to slide in my DMs. Also, if y'all want to help me, I really need somebody who can edit podcasts. Cause I wanna start a podcast. So if y'all know somebody who can edit podcasts and edit audio, even Quiet This Is Kept edit video, let me know. Okay. All right. Miss Dana said the journals can pay those student loans. What? No, I want Biden to pay them though. I want Biden to pay them student loans. I want Uncle Sam to pay the student loans. Anyway. Okay, so let's get back to it. So how to let go. So we talked about being gentle with yourself as you're nurturing your inner child to change your belief systems. We talked about helping your mind grow in its capacity to interpret the yearnings of the heart. And then I think another big thing that when we're talking about letting go, especially in order to step forward, is trust. Trust. Trust in yourself, in your capabilities, in your abilities, in your whatever you think is necessary for yourself to move forward, and trust in the well-being that is always flowing to you and through you. Trust in the resources coming to you at just the right moment. Trusting in there's plenty more where this came from. Trusting that the next breath will be there, until you croak. Just trust. And I think a lot of us have trust issues, right? Because if it was easy for us to trust that there was always going to be more and that it was always going to be better and that we are always supported and that well-being abounds, it would be easy for us to let go of what no longer serves because we're always anticipating that there's greater, there's more. We always trust that there's greater, there's more aligned. The better it gets for us moving forward. But because we don't necessarily trust that, because we have been conditioned to trust a system, a matrix, outside of ourselves to sustain us, we feel like if we don't feed into that system, if we don't abide by that system, if we don't believe in that system, if we don't play into that system, we cannot be sustained. And that, for me, is not necessarily the truth. Can I make room for there to be another option? Can I make space? Can I leave space for there to be another option for me? Can I make space to learn to trust that if I choose another option, if I design another system, if I move into another system, I will be sustained? Not only do I want to be sustained in a new system, I want it to be greater than the current system. How do I leave room for that? How do I let my mind be open to that possibility? How? Trust, faith, I think are the main things there. That is what we can work on cultivating to help us let go of what no longer serves and allow us to move into the next logical step. I think I did call a friend earlier today. I got the impulse to call a girlfriend of mine, a new girlfriend. And she's so amazing. She's so bright. She's really bright. And when I say bright, I don't mean intellectually bright. I mean spiritually bright, energetically bright, uplifting. You feel happy when you talk to her. You feel uplifted. You feel encouraged. That's an energetically bright soul. And she said, look for the patterns of well-being. How do you grow in your capacity to trust? How do you grow in your capacity to have faith? And she said, look for the patterns of well-being. Look how everything always works out for you. Look how even the things that you thought were failures, or even the things that feel like contrast, which is things that you don't want, help you to clarify what you do want. And that clarity is necessary to build the momentum and the courage to move towards the next thing, right? And so I was like, okay, patterns of well-being. Patterns of well-being. All right. And so I kind of was thinking about that a little bit earlier before we got onto live. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's how you learn to trust, right? Or start to coach yourself towards trusting, you know? And when I say trust, not necessarily talking about a trust in a person, I'm talking about trust in the unseen, the unknown, to step out onto a new journey, a new path, a new excursion, something that your parents never did, so you don't have any guidance on, or you feel like you don't have any tangible guidance, you don't have a roadmap, you know what I mean? So you're stepping out. How do you step out and learn to trust? How do you let go, step out, and learn to trust that your next step will land? And how you start to do that is you start to look for the patterns of well-being. Another thing that she talked about that I thought was like, yo, this woman dropping gems on me. She knows I go live every Friday night. So I called her to say, hey, she was like, oh, what's the topic tonight? And so I said, well, it's looking like it's going to be this. And then we got into a whole hour conversation and she dropped some gems. And she was saying another thing that I thought that I was like, yo, I'm going to have to write this in my It's KELLS Collective journal. We're going to have to cheers on our It's KELLS Collective squad mugs for this one. Clink, 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 clink. And she was talking about success, okay? And she was saying that success is only about moving from the outside. It looks like somebody is successful, and it looks like they are almost, it feels like swinging from monkey bar to monkey bar, right? It just looks like they keep going up. You know what I mean? You're like, damn, every step this person take, they making more money. Every step this person take, they getting a promotion at work. Every step this person take is just successful. That's what it looks like from the outside. But from the inside, what the reality is that you're just swinging, and it might not land every time you do. In fact, most things that you do don't land as success. It's just the stepping stone, right? And so let me see if I can explain that better. So this resonated with me because they'll look at your life from the outside and say, dang, you did this and you did this and you did that and you did that. But from the inside, it doesn't feel that way because you know between everything that they see, there were 3 or 4 things that you did that ain't work. You ever notice that? The process, you know what I mean? And that's what it takes. It takes like 2 or 3 things. Sometimes it's like, boom, works. And then you can hit a period where it's like, not working, double back, not working, double back, not working. And that is still, that kind of contrast, that thing that's not working is still designed to clarify the next thing that's more aligned with you that will work. So from the outside, all they see is, dang, this person's swinging from up to up to up to up to up. But for you, you're like, dang, I tried 3 things, like between writing a book and getting it published with a publisher, I tried 15 times. I tried to self-publish. I tried my friend Pookie them to publish it for me. I tried Publishers Clearinghouse and they dropped me. I tried, again to publish it myself. It flopped. And then finally, I got a full-on, publisher. And so people just saw, oh, you wrote the book and you got it published, but they don't know that success just means keep moving through the things that don't work till you get to the next thing that actually does work. And not using those patterns to help you move through. And so I was like, oh, and so she was saying, look for the patterns of well-being. That's how you build your capacity to trust. And I was like, oh, shoot, okay. So that one took me a little bit. I had to think about it a little bit and then again, journal about it, you know what I mean? And say, oh, okay, I see, you're looking for patterns. You're looking back at your life and looked at what really worked and looked at what you did. Another thing that we talked about today was that the creative process is the same. Whether you're doing it on this level or that level or medium level or high level or low level, the creative process is still the same. You know what I mean? And, she was saying, look at things in your life that had worked in the past and analyze what made them work. Analyze what made them work. Look at it. Identify the patterns that work. And replicate them. That not doing the same thing, but just notice the things that work for you. I feel like a lot of us have this system that we're under or where we are, it kind of feels like everybody should be following the same roadmap. Everybody should be, go to finish school, go to college, fall in love, marry their high school sweetheart, buy a house, have a baby, buy a dog. It feels like we all have the same roadmap, but it takes all kinds. And when I say it takes all kinds, it means that it's just as many people there are on this earth is just as many roadmaps that are necessary for us to live our lives. You know what I mean? And so sometimes you're looking at other people and you're comparing. You can't do that. You have to look at the own patterns. You have to analyze your own patterns to help you create your own roadmap moving forward. It's a very individual journey, this is. And this is another thing, I don't think we talked about this on the live last week. We talked a little bit about loneliness as an adult, right? But I don't think we talked about just how individual this life journey is. You are in this bitch by yourself. You could have 10 husbands. You could have 15 wives. You could have a twin. You could have a Siamese twin join at the bati. You could have 15 children. You could have 10 besties. This is this human experience, this is an individual journey. And so for you to do it as successfully as you kind of want, you really have to look at your own personal patterns, you know what I mean? And what works for you in your life and appreciate it and then go from there. Guys, that's all the little notes I had on the topic tonight. That's all I could think of. I see y'all chiming in the comments. Because, around these parts, we learn from the collective wisdom of the KELLS community. So I'm looking forward to jumping in the comments and seeing what you guys are talking about. But tonight we are getting into how to let go of what no longer serves. And letting go in order to move forward. So let me take a sip and then we're going to hop into the comments and see what you guys are talking about. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about tonight. And then we're going to make it do what it do. Cheers. Clink, 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 clink. I'm excited today. I had a good week this week. A little drama happened. Little pipe break, little roof leak or whatever. But we were still grateful. You know what I mean? We were still grateful. So, all right. So let's look in the comments. All right. So Anna's saying faith versus fear. Absolutely, absolutely. Jared is saying using the word melt and saying letting go is a feminine principle helped a lot. Okay. I hope it did, because a lot of time, and I don't know, y'all need to drop your pronouns. Let me know the right pronouns to use when referring to you. He, she, they, non-binary, whatever pronouns that you want to associate with yourself. If I get it wrong, let me know, correct me, and I'll use the appropriate pronouns. But for Jared, sometimes I feel like I'm happy to hear you say that was helped a lot, because sometimes I feel like men, and I feel like quite as is kept, I feel like women as well, because just the system that we've all been conditioned under is a very patriarchal masculine system, and anything that doesn't abide by the patriarchy or masculinity is seen as weak, or is somehow seen as corroded, or as not as effective as a masculine approach. And I reject that ideology because I know better at this time. But sometimes I notice that when you refer to things as feminine in their approach, people recoil a little bit, because they don't even know that they have a visceral reaction to femininity. They don't even know that they have a visceral reaction to the divine feminine, because we've grown up under a system that is so masculine, that is so patriarchal. And so it brings me a little bit of joy, a little bit of joy, to hear that that helped you and that resonated with you. And I'm assuming that you're a male. So I'm excited. Can we get a little bit more divine feminine in our approach? Can we get a more loving, nurturing energy in our approach, so we could all be up? You know what I mean? So we could all be up, So I'm glad you like that, Jared. Okay. Anna said, I needed to hear that. Just keep trying. Just keep trying. Because Anna, from the inside, when I say inside, when you're doing it, it just looks like you're doing all this stuff and you're trying all this stuff. And you're like, is this even success? Like 1 out of every 3 things work. 1 out of every 2 things work. You take 2 steps forward, it's 3 steps back, or, and usually it's not like that. It's just like 1 out of maybe every 2 or 3 things work. So from the inside, it doesn't feel as successful as what it looks like from the outside. But that is the process of success. People that are successful are only successful because they are looking and going towards the pattern of success. They're creating a pattern of success. So from the outside, we only see the successes. So it looks like, damn, they're successful. But from the inside, the creative process, there is a lot of stop and go and refinagling and a lot of contrast to help you clarify what you don't want, so that you can go more confidently towards what you do want. It's a lot of that process is takes finagling. So your job is to not have so much resistance to that process, to not somehow take that process as a failure. That's the process. That's what it takes. And I think, we're internet, our generation is like the internet, right on the cusp of internet. We still remember dial-up, and regular landline phones and VHS and, and all DVDs and all types of things. And then the generations after us don't have any of those more tangible things. But I think, oh Lord, I lost my train of thought. So what I'm saying is that, how I lost my train of thought. So what I was saying is that, I think generations after us have a problem with understanding that it's not immediate gratification for everything. Things take a process. It takes time. It takes a hell of a lot more time than they conditioned us. In school, what did they condition us? Every year in school, you bump up a grade, period. 1 year, 365 days, you up. Next grade, next grade, next grade, next grade. And so we're conditioned to think that progress is on a year calendar. When you get to college, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, boom, out the door, and we're thinking that things march on like that. But when you become an adult, you realize that, it takes 5 years to do anything. It takes 5 years to do anything. What the heck? I thought I was going to be able to do this in a year. No, ma'am. No, sir. It takes you 3, 4, 5 years to do anything. But then when you look back, you're like, how did I get in Atlanta, in a house, in my own studio. What the heck? How do I get to my own residency? You know what I mean? On the West Coast. You know what I mean? How did I get my own album and my own masters, and I'm touring and I have a baby? Like, how? Takes much longer than we've been conditioned to, but it still happens. And so, you're doubling back and trying to do all of this, but it's still success. It's still clarifying, what you want. So, and saying you dropped a lot of gems. My fave being, look at what has worked for you and what you did. For me, I forget sometimes what zone, yes, I was in when things were popping and I hit a wall. I need that reminder. Yes, what zone were you in? Yes, what zone was that? Tap back into that zone. You know what I mean? When things was just flowing like water, when it was juicy, when it was dripping, when it was juicy, what was that? What was that sticky, icky? You know what I mean? Like, get back there. You know what I mean? Look for those patterns. Try to get back into that place. Try to get back into that flow. You know what I mean? And at least, like, understand, like, oh, that was that zone. Yeah, I feel you on that. That's a good point. Anna saying, usually when things work out, I'm usually unblocked from fear and connected to spirit. Absolutely. Fear. Oh my God. That thing is relentless, ain't it? Relentless. Relentless. And you just have to find a way to just like work with it. You know what I mean? Just work with it, and be gentle about it. I think the biggest thing for me that I have written on my mirrors and things like that is being gentle with myself as I let these old belief systems transform into something that better serves. Be gentle. Like if you were dealing with a child, you can deal with your mind like that. You can deal with your heart like that. It's okay. It's working out in my favor. I'm on the right path. I'm going in the right direction. Things are becoming clearer. Things are feeling good. Time is on my side. Time is on my side. Everything in divine timing, nothing before its time. What is for me cannot be for me. What is for me cannot be for me. It will not miss me. It cannot miss me. Woo! Time is on my side. Yes. Jared is saying, put your health first. Life with Miss Dana is saying, yes, because I'm waiting to leave the DMV. Plan it out, sis. Put the numbers on a spreadsheet. Know what you got to save to hit, to then when you could bounce, how much time you could be out of work or how much time you could take this job to do that. Put the numbers in a little bit of a spreadsheet. Put the number that you want, write it down, put it somewhere. I have a number written down. I said, let me get this K. Let me get 50,000. Let me get 100,000. If I could get 100,000, I could take a year off. I want to take a year off. Just define what you want. You don't worry about the how. Just to define what and the why. We talked about that earlier as well. Just define the what you want and the why you want it. And be clear about that. And the when and the how, those detailed process things, you release those to the divine. You release those to a greater power. But your job in this whole thing is to know what you want and why you want it. Jared is saying, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed you being here, boo. Thank you for joining us. We're on each and every Friday night, 7 p.m. with the topics you guys want to discuss. On Thursday nights, I do a topic drop, put 4 options on, you guys vote. And then Friday nights at 7 p.m., I come off the dome talking about the things. Tonight I had a little bit of notes tonight. Sometimes we just come straight off the dome, learning from the collective wisdom of the KELLS community. I appreciate you being here, Jared. Thank you. Yeah. Rubes is saying, agree with Anna. Letting go of all of that helps us to flow. Everything is always working out for me, even when it seems like it's not. Things are always working out for me, says Life with Miss Dana. Let me tell you something about contrast. Even when you feel like things are not working out for you, even when you feel like things are not feeling good to you, it is helping you to clarify what actually feels good. Sometimes we don't know exactly what we want. Sometimes we don't know exactly what feels good. But what we always know is what we don't want for the most part and what doesn't feel good. And that thing also helps us, that contrast also helps us to clarify what we do want and what does feel good. There's an energetic ask there, right? And so you still have to appreciate the contrast. You still have to appreciate the contrast. We talked about this in a live before, that this is a world, this plane that we live on, this earth that we live on, this world that we live in, it's a system, it's a world of polarities, meaning that for every light there's a dark, for every up there's a down, for every left there is a right. And so that contrast with knowing what we don't want helps us to clarify what we do want. And that clarity of what we do want creates that momentum to help push us and propel us towards what we do want. So sometimes you need to know what you don't want. And the only way you know what you don't want is to experience that contrast, experience those things that you think are not working out for you, so you can conclusively eliminate them. Man, this corporate ain't for me. You know, DMV ain't for me. You know what I mean? This dude ain't for me. You know what I mean? This female's not for me. You know, children are not for me. Marriage is not for me. You know, and those things help you clarify what you do want. Yeah. Everything is always working out for you. Highest and greatest. Rubes is saying, reminds me of Apex again, as they asked to find a better thought and then better thought gradually. So reach for a better thought, a better feeling thought. Reach for a better feeling thought. Jared says, I really feel blessed by being here. You know, Jared, I set the intention that if this live could just touch or elevate one person this evening, then the job has been done. And I'm feeling like it might be you. Thank you again for being here. Anna says, we're glad you're here, Jared. Rube says, me too, truly blessed. Life with Dana says, glad I'm here. Cheers. Clink, 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 clink. Oh my gosh. So guys, I'm feeling like that's the live for tonight. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I do these videos so you know you're not out here alone in this sometimes crazy dating, loving, living world. If this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe, share the video, like the video, turn on your notifications. It's a free and easy way to support the content, to support the channel, to help us amplify what we're doing over here on the KELLS Collective. Yeah, so I do these videos so you know you're not out here alone sometimes in this crazy world. First time here, love to have you subscribe. If you're an oldie but a goodie, returning viewer, good looking out. Replay gang, drop this emoji in the comments. Replay gang is strong over here. So even if you didn't have an opportunity to catch us live, no problem. Drop this emoji and your comments and your thoughts down below in this video, sound off below. And I'll respond to each and every one. And hopefully one of these days you can catch us live, because it's fun catching us live. It's fun catching us live. I was in a mood today. I was definitely in a good mood today. Today was a beautiful day in Atlanta, and I spent it outside a little bit. So I definitely got a little extra sun kiss. And whenever I get some sun kisses, it just brings the mood up. You know what I mean? So anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I think that's our Friday night live. And yeah, I'll catch you guys here again next week, 7 p.m. This is week 18. We are on to week 19 next week. And I feel like for week 20, we're going to have something special in store. So be sure to to look out for that one. But in the meantime, I appreciate you guys so much. And yeah, good night, guys.